Good evening and welcome to the session. Hope I am audible and the screen is visible, right? This is the tech check. I am audible, guys, right? And the screen is visible to you. Can you please confirm?
Yes, sir. It is visible.
Okay, thank you. So, this is the seventh week. We have been through three fourths of the course now. So, if I want a one-word review, what would it be? Was it satisfactory, okay, or not satisfactory? These sessions. Okay, no answer. That means, I should be afraid of asking the reviews then.
Satisfactory, sir.
Okay, thank you for letting me know. Uh, we will wait a couple more minutes for others to join. Um, Meanwhile, if you have got any point regarding previous sessions or the topics we have already covered till now, till week 6 contents or even week 7 contents that you wish to discuss in class, do let me know. Any doubts or queries regarding the submitted assignments till now? Any assignment till now? Any questions, any queries, any point that you would like to raise till week 7 contents? Okay, we will start the session by 6:05. Even this course that we have been discussing, project planning and control, specifically regarding scheduling, we haven't delved much into different scheduling techniques, and we have kind of followed the, what you can say, very basic scheduling methods till now. I mean, AO, and we focused on CPM primarily, right? Even there have been much advances in this field also. So, if anybody of you is interested in going into detail about scheduling techniques, um, there is one course by Professor J. Umameshwari. It is a 4 week course, but it is a power packed course. In 4 weeks, you will get more contents than any 8 week course easily. So, different methods, especially like the one we will discuss today PDM, then line of balance method, uh, metrics based methods like design structure metrics or multiple domain metrics. So all those scheduling techniques, if you are willing to go into detail, you can find it in that course. That course will run in the next semester, and if you want to have a look, its problem solving sessions by me are already there on my YouTube channel. Okay, so Good evening, guys. Welcome once again. The course is Project Planning and Control. This is week 7. The course instructor is Professor Koshy Verghese at IIT Madras. I am Venugopal Mahajan, a PhD fellow at IIT Delhi. Uh, okay, YouTube channel name. Uh, have you guys been following? Where the same channel where I have been uploading these recordings. I guess you will find it by the handle VGCPM at YouTube. Okay. Yeah. So coming to the course overview, as we were discussing, this is specifically related to scheduling, and we have already been through week 6. So we have seen an example of resource driven scheduling. Now we will be discussing something different, precedence diagramming method, and obviously some overview of project monitoring and control. Just some overview because in week 8 we will be focusing more on monitoring and control, earned value concepts, and just a simple overview of PERT. Uh, okay, good evening. I just got a message. Yeah. So, section contents, PDM, precedence diagramming method, and project monitoring. So, okay. Uh, just a moment, guys. We have got one doubt. A doubt regarding week 6, question number 4. So, can you turn on your mic and read me the question?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, in question number 4, it is stated that which of the statements are which of the statements are false in concerning the resource labeling.
Okay.
So the number 1 option is it involves shifting activities within their float to minimize fluctuations in daily resource use.
Okay.
Number 2nd is one of the strategies of resource labeling include interrupting an activity and resuming it later.
Okay.
And number 3rd is resources can be labeled by extending the deadline of the project and keeping the daily resource requirement within available limit.
Mm, okay. So, which one of the above is false, right?
False. Which of the above statements are false?
Yeah. And which of them are false?
Sir, I think I have assuming it which of the statements are true. That is why I choose the option 2nd and 3rd. That is why my answer is incorrect.
Okay. So, if you had chosen which statements were false, your answer would have been correct, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My it will be corrected, but unfortunately, in false section, I've seen there is true. That is why my answer is incorrect.
Okay.
Now I know. Now I know the answer. Now I know the answer.
Okay. Yeah. So, for everybody, any query related to already submitted assignments or uh, till week 7 contents?
Sir, my query is related to this question only. Means, can you elaborate all these 3 points in a proper way, sir? Means,
Um,
actually,
yeah.
we haven't solved much of the numericals on such problems. Means, we are means what we can say that we are splitting that values.
Yeah. So, splitting, I don't think till now we have actually seen splitting of activities, right? We
That's
d- we
that's
did,
what, sir.
yeah, we did CPM.
Yeah.
Then we moved on to time cost trade off, and even then we were we tried to do the activity in one go only. Even while
Yes,
doing
sir.
resource leveling and resource allocation, we didn't split the activities.
Yes, sir.
So splitting we will see today.
Okay.
Yeah. And regarding resource leveling, we are interested in having a uniform or less fluctuating demand. We are obviously more interested in making the resource curve like less number of resources in the beginning, peaking towards the middle, and again going down towards the end. So that
Sir,
kind of,
can we,
yeah.
sir, can we extend the deadline of project duration as it is asked in that question?
See, if it is the question of only resource leveling, we are not extending the project duration.
But in real world, sir,
Yeah,
in
in real
real
world,
world,
yeah, real world definitely. If you have to allocate resources, it may happen that your project gets extended. Like in last session, we did one numerical where
yes, sir.
if you uh, if you just go by CPM, your duration came out to be 10 days, but by allocating the number of by limiting the resources to 10 only, the project duration extended to 14 days.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So it does happen, and it also happens in our numericals also when we have got allocation problems. But leveling problems, no. Leveling, we deal with constrained project duration.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Uh, so we will be discussing precedence diagramming method. You have been through the week's contents. Any okay? What do you mean by PDM?
Actually, we are splitting the activities. Means, for example, if excavation work is there, we are again splitting the excavation in a series of work.
Uh, no, no, no. That
PDM is
is
like improvement over AON method.
uh, okay. PDM improvement over AON method. What kind of improvement?
What kind of
Sir, we are subdividing the work, no, in means PDM.
No, we are not subdividing the work actually.
Means we are going at from macro level to micro level, sir.
No, no,
Okay.
no. We are not doing any such thing in PDM.
Okay, sir. Okay. Okay.
So, okay. Anybody else? What are we doing in PDM? Why is it different? See, this is one method that I think you guys would really like while solving the numericals, while working on it. But it is going to be a little cumbersome. So let me tell you about the origin. Okay, how old do you think this method would be? PDM. It came after CPM and PERT. Okay, so how old do you think PDM would be? Any guess?
1947.
1960.
Okay, so it is around 1960s. At IBM, it was developed. Okay, I have got one response. Applying constraints which give flexibility uh, in non-continuous work and continuous work. What do you mean by continuous work and non-continuous work? You can just turn on your mics. So let's discuss just in one go what are the okay, yeah. So PDM versus CPM, 1960s from IBM. Three basic over CPM. It has three basic benefits. One is you are going to use AON networks now. You don't have to worry about activity on arrow and dummy activities whatsoever. Then you have got more relationships. I mean, the relationships are more realistic now, and the concept of lead and lag has also been included. So till now in the CPM, there was only one relationship, right? That let's say this is activity A and this is activity B. So what this meant was that activity B can start only when activity A finishes, right? FS finish to start relationship was there. And what else was there, that activity B immediately starts after activity A finishes, right? This was meant 0 lag 0 lead immediately starts after activity A finishes. But even if you have got tasks that are concurrent, you may need some lead time, or that it may be that or you may need some lag time. Either it can be for very basic thing like evaluation or inspection itself, right? So if you have to put inspection as an in this CPM network, what you would have to do, you would have to make it a separate activity. Like activity A finishes, then inspection activity starts, inspection activity finishes, and then activity B starts. But in PDM, what you can do, you can just have some lag and show it. So finish to start relationship was there in CPM. In PDM, what other relationships are there? Can you tell me?
4 relationships.
Okay, 4 relationships. Which one?
Finish to
Start,
start,
start.
start to finish, finish to finish, start to start,
Okay, start to start, finish to finish, and start to
finish
finish.
to
Right. So all these relationships you have seen finish to start very well. What about a start to start relationship? Can you give me an example? Okay, what do you mean by start to start relationship? How would you read it?
that activity A and B are both going to start.
Okay, if A and B are both going to start, then can you say that A is the predecessor of B?
No,
They stops simultaneously.
Okay, if they are starting simultaneously, then there need not be any precedence relationship, right? Uh, but what start to start relationship actually looks like is, okay, so as soon as activity A starts, activity B starts, or activity B can start. Okay, so let me repeat it. As soon as activity A starts, activity B can start. Now, you now from the statement itself, it is clear to you that B is dependent on activity A somehow. Right? I mean, B can only start when A starts. So that means there is some kind of precedence relationship. So this was your start to start. For finish to finish, it would have been your activity B can only finish after activity A finishes. We are not talking about the starts right now. Okay, activity B can only finish after activity A finishes. So that means again some kind of precedence is there. Any example for both of these cases, from site, from construction, from life?
like exam result. After exam,
Okay. Can you please elaborate?
after giving the exam, then only there is a possibility of publishing of the result.
But don't you think that is an finish to start relationship?
Oh, finish to start. Yes.
Good evening, sir. For me, it can be excavation work or reinforcement work. Both can be start simultaneously, sir.
Okay, so you mean to say that once excavation work starts, your enforcement work can also start?
Yes, sir. For open draft foundation, we can do both the work simultaneously, sir.
Okay, so that is a start to start relationship, right?
Okay.
In the same example, can you say that your reinforcement work can only finish after your excavation work is completed?
No, sir.
Why not? I mean, before your excavation is completed, can you complete your reinforcement work?
Sorry, sir.
Before your excavation is completed,
Yes.
can you complete your reinforcement work?
Uh, no, means we
Sir, we
can
can
start, but
complete.
the finish timing
We
is not
can
depend
complete.
on the start time, sir.
Both are separate activity.
The
It will go the
relationship.
same.
Okay, both are separate. So let us take another example. Okay, construction itself. Uh, Tying of reinforcement and placing of concrete. Okay,
Yes,
as
sir.
as soon as you start tying the reinforcement, can you start placing the concrete if the formwork is already
No,
done?
no. After completion of reinforcement only, you can start the concrete.
Yeah, can you?
After completion of reinforcement only, we can start the concrete.
Okay, after completion of reinforcement only. Let's suppose there are 20 beams.
But in some case, sir, it is allowable. Na? Means as you are saying 20 beams. So if 10 beams reinforcement is completed, then we can start our concrete pouring part for the 10 beams, and rest of the
Partly we
10
can
beams
do.
after the reinforcement work is completed.
Yeah. So let's do one thing. Instead of doing 20 beams at one go, let's do 10 beams at a time. Okay. So R10, then after R10 you can have C10, then after R10 you can have R20, right? Reinforcement of rest remaining, and then after this you can have C20, right? Now same activity you had to split it into two, or if you had gone for more distribution, like let's say just 5 beams you are placing the reinforcement and concreting for those 5 beams, that would have been a different thing, right? So what you can do is you can have you as soon as your reinforcement start, you can start concreting also with some days of lag, let's say 3 days of lag, right?
Yes, sir.
And but you will say the same thing, that your concreting can only finish after reinforcement has finished, right?
Yes, sir.
So this can be the same example for start to start relationship also, and finish to finish relationship also. And you will find that in real life, when you have got a start to start relationship, most of the cases you will get finish to finish relationship complementary.
Yes, sir.
uh, but so you got an idea, right, that these are A and B. You would have said that they are parallel activities, but still there is some precedence between them. A should precede activity B. So that was a start to start and finish to finish. What about a start to finish relationship? We discussed this over time, I guess, week 3 or week 4. Yeah, start to finish relationship. Let me draw it out for you first. Okay. Uh, so activity B can only finish after activity A starts. Activity B can only finish after activity A starts. So can you think of it in construction, something like this happening?
Excavation and PCC. PCC can only finish if excavation would start.
No, but clearly they have got a start to start or finish to finish relationship, right?
Okay.
So any other example? where activity B can only finish after activity A starts. Shift change, yeah, yeah, you can say that, of shift change of labors. Okay, yeah, this kind of example you will find it in handover. Yeah, handover is one example of this, or decommissioning. Let's say on site you were initially working with temporary electricity source, let's say generator, and now you are shifting to electrical lines. So you can only finish your dismantling of your generators when the lines have started working, right? The dismantling of generator, that activity can only finish once the power transmission through electric lines have already started. So this kind of start to finish relationship you will find it in handovers or decommissioning kind of thing. So this is about the relationships. Similarly, you can have lead or lag here. It could be positive also, like this would be 8 days start to start relationship, or it could be negative also. Now there is one good article about uh, the negative lag. I mean, it is named as Great Negative Lag Debate. I will leave it for you guys to Google it. Okay, so now this is the overview of these 4 relationships. Any queries, any questions? Yeah, so what we will do is we will solve uh, tiny numericals on each of these relationships and then move on to the bigger one. Okay.
So sorry to interrupt, but is there any example of construction in the construction of that particularly for start to finish relationship?
Start to finish relationship. No, I don't. I think from the construction phase,
Hmm.
no, there won't be any example. I mean, I have not come across any example from construction phase. It has always been handover or decommissioning phase.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, but it is a kind of relationship, so we will be studying it. Now, one more thing before moving on. Uh, right now, you have got all you have got is point to point relationship, right? Like start of the activity, end of the activity, as it was in CPM. You are not worried about in between the activity what is happening, only the start and end. So again in PDM, it is going to be point to point relationship. There can be continuous relationship also, like placing of reinforcement and placing of concrete, right? So this R activity could be 20, 20 beams like this, and this concreting activity could be 20 beams like these, and you could have relationship continuous, right? So still we are not discussing this. Okay, we are just breaking it down into endpoints and working on it. This kind of relationship you can deal with beeline diagramming method above the contents of this course, but you can find it in scheduling techniques course. Okay, so solving some basic relationships. Activity A has estimated duration of 18 days as the predecessor to activity B, which has an estimated duration of 25 days. Calculate the earliest start and latest finish for activity B, and some relationships are given to you. Okay, so what notation we will be using is activity, duration, similarly activity, duration, then here you would have total float, early start, early finish, late. Similarly, early start, early finish, late start. So, what do you think? To calculate all these, do we need to do both forward pass or backward pass, or only forward pass would be enough?
Both required.
Both forward parts and backward parts is required.
Okay, so we are worried about earliest start and latest finish, both forward pass, backward pass. Let's see. Okay, uh, so let me draw it again. A18 and B25, right? What is the first relationship? First relationship is finish to finish 14 days plus 14. So, what do you think? What is the earliest start for activity A? I would ask you to follow the steps here
Early
very.
start would be 0,
Yeah, it would be 0.
18,
It would be 0. Then early finish would be 18. What about activity B?
late finish would be 18 plus 14.
Late finish.
Yes.
So late finish would be 18 plus 14. How much? 42. Right?
Sorry. Early start.
18 plus 25.
Early finish would be 18 plus 14.
Uh, okay. Early finish would be 18 plus 14, 42. Can it be any other value? What about early start of activity B?
It's 32, sir.
Minus 25.
42.
Okay.
It's early
Yeah.
finish at 42.
32.
32.
Yeah.
And 32 minus 25 would be the early start of B.
Finish.
Why cannot it be 0? Can early start of activity B be 0?
No,
Earliest?
sir.
Okay. So we will see to it. Can it or can it not be? Okay. So then what would it be? What would the early start of activity B be?
7.
32, 7, right?
Yes, sir.
What about the late finish?
Late finish will be
Will
32,
be
sir.
30. 32.
So
Minus
thir-
27.
32, 7, and similarly 18 and 0. It seems so. Let's check the second case. Okay. A18, B25. What is the next relationship? Can you read it for me?
So start to start.
Okay. So start to start with 10 days of yeah. So early start of activity A 0.
0.
0.
What about activity B then?
10.
10.
10. So
35.
35. What about activity A? Early finish?
18.
18.
18.
So let's go backward also. What would be the late finish for activity B?
35.
35. Late start? 10.
10.
So what would be the late finish for activity A?
It would be 18, sir.
Why?
Because the relationship
Same.
is start to start, sir.
Okay, I have got 10, I have got 18. Can it be 35? Can we finish activity A latest by 35? See, whatever example we are solving right now, we are not splitting the activities. Okay, so if some activity has to finish by 35, you would say then it has to start by 17. We are not splitting the activities. So in this case, we won't be going in this manner. Obviously, there is no relationship that is showing the value 10 here. So it would be 18 and 0. We are not splitting the activities, right? Similarly, for third, what would it be? A 18 and B 25, and the relationship is finish to
finish
start.
32.
Third one, finish to start minus 7.
Yes.
So this would be 0, 18, 18 minus 7, 11, and then 36. So backward would have been 36, 11, 11 minus 7, 18, and 0. Right? Quite the same. Next one is start to finish 32. 18. B 25. It is a start to finish. Mm, 0, 32. So this would be 18. This would be 0 plus 32, 32. And so 32 minus 25. How much it would be?
7.
7. Similarly, backward pass would have been 32. 32 minus 25, 7. In this case, what would it be? Okay, so all these examples were of continuous activities. We will solve numerical with continuous activities first, and then okay, I've got one thing. So we would take maximum duration, then 43. Okay, so we will solve it for continuous activities first. Okay, no splitting allowed. That means that from forward pass you will be getting your earliest start. From backward pass you will be getting your latest finish. For early finish, earliest start plus duration. For late start, late finish minus duration. That's it. That's what you have to remember. For forward pass we will be taking the maximum values. For backward pass we will be taking the minimum values. Same as what we did in CPM. Okay. What is the critical path here? One good question, but we will see it in the bigger numerical. Okay, so you have been given activities, IPS, their duration. The one I talked about, start to start and finish to finish, are complementary here. 2 and 1. Duration is given to you. What is being asked is determine the project duration. So continuous activity you have to assume first. Okay, so what does this network look like? Okay, it looks like A, B, C, D, E, and this is how this network looks like, right? You all agree this is how the network looks like? So let's try to solve it for continuous activities. Okay, help me put the values. 0. What about early finish for activity A? 0 plus 10, 10. What about activity B? What would be the early start?
2.
2. Then what would be the early finish? 2 plus 7, 9. Right?
Yes, sir.
But can it finish on 9th day? There is a finish to finish relationship with A also, no?
We'll take 18, sir, instead of 9.
Why 18?
Because one more relation is given, na, sir.
Which relation gives you the value of 18?
Finish to finish relationship is given. So the forward pass for this would be 10 plus 1, it would be 11.
Yeah.
Or 11. And okay, sir. Then 2 plus 7 plus 9.
So this would be 11, right?
Yes, sir.
I mean the bigger value 11. So, and as it is continuous, so this value would also be 4 now, right? 11 minus 7, 4.
4.
What about activity C? If you go by this relationship, it would be 6.
2, 6, 6,
And from other relationship, it would be 11 plus
11
1.
plus 12.
12, sir. 12. And 12 minus 3, it would be 9, sir, instead of 6.
Yeah. So you have got 12 and 9 here. What about activity D?
12 plus 12, sir.
See, it could be 9
6.
plus 2, 11. Then 11 plus 5, it would have been 16.
16, sir.
Or 12 plus 1, 13. And 13 minus 5, 8. So you would say it is 11 and 16?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, 11, 16. What about activity E? So 11 plus 2 would have been 13, and 13 plus 8, 19.
21.
Or, sorry, 13 plus 8, 21.
21,
Or
sir.
16 plus
Now
1,
16 plus
17,
1,
and
17.
9. So it would be 21, right?
13 and 21. Yes, sir.
Okay, 13 and 21. So continuous activities.
Yes, sir.
Now, backward pass also. Let's try it. Okay, so you tell me which value to write and I will write it.
Sir, 21.
Okay, 21. What about this?
13.
Same 13, sir.
13. What about activity D?
Wait.
Minus 20.
No, sir.
22.
22. How come 22?
21 plus
21.
20.
No, we are
One
going
point.
backwards. So it would be 21 minus 1, right?
Minus 1.
20.
Yeah. So one value you have got 20 here. Any other value? It could be 13 minus 2, 11 this side. So 11 plus 5, 16.
Yes, sir. 16 would be the answer. Sir.
Right. So as it is backward pass, we will be taking the minimum values.
Yes, sir.
So 16 and 11. What about activity C?
15. And 9.
If you come backwards, it would be 15 from here.
3. 3,
12.
sir.
12.
0 and 3.
10, 12.
Okay,
11 minus 2 would be 9. 9 plus 3, 12.
right. So again, the minimum would be 9 and 12. What about activity B?
9 minus 2, 7. 7 minus 7.
Same 11 and 4 and 10 and 0. It would be more like, sir, linear construction activities. Means linear.
Okay, then if you if you are saying that it is linear, why don't you just total the durations for
11.
Why don't you total the duration for all the activities and see if it is matching this or not? Okay, I am getting these values from you, so I am just writing it down. Okay, so if you just total it, it would be what? 10 and 7, 17, 17 and 3, 20, 20 plus 5, 25, 25 and 8, 33. And there is a 2-day buffer between each activities. So it would have raised to 41, right? But your total duration is 21 only. Can you get my point? Can you get the point?
Yes, sir. The original duration is coming 33, and by R is coming 21.
And even in 33, you have not included any lead, right? Any lag.
Yes, sir.
2 days for each activity. So uh, the question was determine the project duration. So you said it is 21 days, right? Now this second part is interesting here. Uh, if the duration of activity C is increased by 2 days, how will the project duration change? What do you think?
21 plus 2.
21 plus 2. Okay, so 23.
No, sir. Can you please put that
Figure again?
figure slide one more
Yeah.
time?
So the answer, if the activity C is yeah, the duration of activity C is increased by 2 days.
Sir, it would be same, sir, 21, because here in the activity D it is 16, and by adding 14 plus 1 it is coming 15. So forward pass in the for late early finish of D would be 16 itself instead of 15. So duration will going to be same for the project.
Okay, and this one is duration for continuous activities. Okay. uh, so I have got two answers now. 21 plus 2, it would be 23, or it would remain same, right? Anybody else? Figure is in front of you. What do you think? 23 or 21? Open voting. Do you think C is critical activity?
Yes.
Okay.
No, sir, it's a non-critical activity as per me, sir.
Okay.
Because changing its duration, the project duration is not changing. That is why it is not critical for.
Okay. So we have not done the calculation to check if it is critical or not critical. I see a couple of guys leaving right now, and I am like, this is the one thing that actually shows the beauty of PDM. So hopefully they will see on the recording. Okay, so let's try to solve it. Okay, so duration of C increases by 2 days. So instead of 3, we will be dealing with 5 now, right? So this is 5. Let's try to calculate it. Okay, 0, this would be 10, right? 2, what about next? Or does the value change? It could be, yeah.
11.
So 11, 4. What about activity C now? Six plus either it could be 6 plus 5, 11, or it could be
12.
12, and 12 minus 5, 7, right? So bigger values. So 7, 12. What about activity D?
20.
So it could be 7 plus 2, 9, and 9 plus 5, 14,
14.
or 12 plus 1, 13, and 13 minus 5, 8. So bigger
9,
values, 9
14.
and 14. What about activity E now?
9 to 11.
So 9 and 2, 11, 11 plus 8, 19,
19,
or
14 plus
14 plus 1,
15.
15, and 15 minus 8, 7. So obviously bigger values, 11 and 19. So do you see it?
21 minus 2.
Calculation
I
mistake.
just noticed that.
I mean, the calculation is in front of you. Do you think that we missed something? We are increasing the duration of activity and overall project duration is decreasing. Did we make a mistake?
Yes, sir.
What mistake did we make? It is in front of you guys. I mean, the previous slide we calculated it to be 21. Then we pick one activity, we increase its duration, and the total project duration reduces. What happened? Okay, I am giving you 30 seconds just to redo the calculations and tell me what mistake did we make.
So, sir, from C to D, finish to finish, it's increase the value by 2, which makes the value of D activities earlier start time uh, little less, I think.
Okay, I mean, you got the you got the right idea that something happened because C and
Finish to
D.
finish.
Yeah, see, in this kind of network, C is not critical activity. C is not a non-critical activity. C here is reverse critical activity. Okay, so what do you mean by reverse critical activity? I mean, can something be reverse critical? Especially in construction, can anything be reverse critical? Just random guesses. Just talk to me, guys. What do you feel about this?
Sir, can you please more elaborate what is reverse critical actual means that?
Okay, so when we were talking about increase in total duration because of increase in duration of one activity, so you were like that if it is a critical activity and you increase the duration, the overall project duration will increase. If it is a not critical activity and the duration is increased by less than the total float available, there won't be any change in the duration of the activity total project. That's what we learned in CPM.
Yes, sir.
Right now, what happened is if you increase the duration of a non reverse critical activity, it will increase the project duration. Sorry, it will decrease the project
Decrease.
duration.
Decrease the duration.
Right. So C is that kind of activity, reverse critical, and its reverse is also true. If I instead of increasing its duration, if I reduce it, na, you will find that the total project duration increases. Want to try it?
No, sir.
Sir, can you please
So the
relate to some real world scenario of civil engineering, this reverse critical activity?
Um, okay. So see, reverse criticality is not happening because of some physical phenomena. Okay, it is happening because of the relationships. Let me tell you. Let me show it to you. Okay. Uh, if you want to point out that which what is the critical path, you would say that activity A, the start of activity A is critical,
Hmm.
right? What is the whole activity A critical?
Everything is critical, sir. A, B, C, D, E.
Yeah, but if you trace the critical path, there are multiple relationships, and only some relationships are critical.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
See, even activity B is not totally critical. If you see,
Yes,
Some
sir.
are critical only in start, and some will be critical only in end.
yeah, but what about activity C? You see that activity C is completely critical, but in the reverse direction. Like the first relationship, B to C is critical, and then activity C to D, this relationship is critical, right? You check it, the values. 9 plus 2, 11, this would be critical, not 12 plus 1, 13 and all, right? So activity C becomes critical, but in the opposite direction of natural flow. So you see
Yes, sir.
reverse critical. Can you see it from the figure?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So B to C, finish to finish is critical, and then from C to D, start to start is critical. That's
So
why C is reverse.
yeah. So what is happening is that the finish of activity C becomes critical first, and then logically start of activity C becomes critical.
Yes, sir.
So you see that whatever we have learned till now, it would have been first start of C is critical and then start finish of C is critical. But right now in the figure itself, it is clear. So this shows the reverse critical nature.
Sir, I am understanding that the start to start is critical of C, but how come so from the in the back direction? How is it critical? Can you explain?
Okay, yeah. So we are not we are going directly by calculation purposes. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so let me erase this part. So if you had to calculate values for activity C, what values would have been? 4 plus 2 6, 6 plus 3 9, or 11 plus 1 12, and 12
9.
minus 3
9.
9. So just by looking at the relationships between B and C, which relationship is critical? Finish to finish or start to start?
Finish to finish.
So B finish to finish is critical.
Yes, sir.
B to C finish to finish is critical. So if this is critical, that means the finish of activity C is critical now,
Yes, sir.
right? Now let's talk about activity D.
Okay, sir. Now I got it. Yes. From B to C, it's finish to finish is critical, and from C to D, it's start to start is critical.
Yeah. So if this start to start is critical, then how did you actually reach to this start? By going through activity C, but in reverse
Yes,
direction.
but in reverse direction. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is the anomaly, the anomalous nature, and can you guess why this happened? Okay, the answer is in front of you.
Due to relationship, that complementary relationship we get, that finish to finish, start to start, you have said earlier.
Okay,
Is it?
but the complementary relationship is also for activity A, but activity A is critical. Also for activity B, but B is not critical. Then why did C become reverse critical? Okay, I will repeat the hint. The answer is in front of you, clearly written. Okay, it is because we considered these activities continuous. And if we split the activities, it would not have been so. So what we would do is we would try to split the activities now. What do you think? If we split the activities, will the total duration remain the same, increase or decrease? Guys, there are only three options. Will the duration remain the same? Will the duration increase or will it decrease?
So,
Yeah?
If we change the duration of D, there will be no change.
Okay, we are not changing the duration. We are just splitting the activities if possible. So let's try to see it by splitting the activities. Okay, splitting the activities means just one thing you have to be clear about. Like right now in forward pass, how were you calculating early finish? Early finish you were calculating by subtracting the by adding the duration to early start, and by checking what minimum you were getting, you were putting those values. But right now, this duration, early finish to late finish, it could be more than duration also. That is splitting. We will see it in the values and then I will describe it again. Okay, so anomaly, you know what we were talking about. Okay, so reverse critical. And now non-continuous or interruptible activities. So once again, forward pass, help me fill the values. What 0 start? Okay. What about early finish of activity A?
10.
10. No other incoming arrow, right? Only one, the duration one. Okay, what about activity B? What would be the early start?
2.
Early start 2. And what about the early finish?
11.
How so?
11.
Plus 4.
2 plus 7.
So that means your duration of activity B increased, right? I mean, earliest it can start on 2 and earliest it can finish on 11. That means 9 days.
Sir, instead of 2, it would be 4.
Yes.
Okay, so that is the only difference between continuous and interruptible activities.
Okay.
So we are we are interested in the relationships now and not keeping the duration fixed. Okay, you got an idea? So let's do it for remaining activities and we will see. So what about activity C? 2 plus 2 4, and either it could be 4 plus 3 7 or 11 plus 1 12, right? So it would be 12. What about activity D? 4 plus 2 6,
6.
or any other backward?
13.
No, not coming. So 6. What about D? It could
13.
be 11 or 12 plus 1 13. So 13. What about activity E?
8.
6 plus 2 8. And what about finish? Either it could
16.
be 8 plus 8 16 or 13 plus 1
14.
14.
14. So 16. You see your duration, project duration actually decreased by 5 days. So again I am repeating the question. If you split the activities, will the total project duration increase, decrease or remain the same?
Decrease.
Hmm?
Decrease. It is decreasing.
Yeah. So will it decrease or increase or remain the same? Yeah, it is a trick question. Every time you have to solve. I mean, I have got numerical. It depends on the interrelationships between them, right? The relationships now are such that your project duration is decreasing. So, okay, let's try the backward pass in this case. 16, 16 minus 8, 8. What about activity D?
15.
15. Then what about this? 8 minus 2, 6. Right? Then what about activity C?
14.
14.
14.
3.
6 minus 2, 4.
4. What about activity B?
13. 4 minus 2, 2.
13. 2. And activity A?
13 minus 1, 12.
12.
2 minus 2, 0.
Uh, minus 2, 0. Okay. So total float, you know how to calculate total float, right?
Yes, sir.
So what is total float?
Early finish minus late
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 finish
finish.
finish
minus early finish.
minus early start minus duration, right? Right now you know that it is splitting is allowed, so early start plus duration is not equal to early finish, right? So we'll be going by the basic formula. Now writing the total float in the center, 12 minus 10 minus 0, I mean 2. What about activity B?
13 minus 2 minus 7.
4,
4.
right? What about activity C?
7.
Uh, yeah, 7. Activity D?
4.
4. Activity E?
0.
So you see that only one activity is completely critical. What about the critical path in this case? So,
Start of A.
uh, yeah. Uh, so let me. Yeah. So start of A and then
Start of B.
start of B. Then
C. Start of C again.
start of C.
Start of D.
Start of D.
Then E is already critical.
So then to start of E and then E is
Finish.
completely critical. So in this kind of networks, you will get questions like which of the activity is completely critical, or which activities are only start critical. So I think you can tell from the network itself, right? Uh, so did you guys find something different in this case? I mean, whatever you were solving till now, CPM and PDM. What do you find more useful, CPM or PDM?
The PDM as per me, because it is giving the actual condition of the activity, whether the its start is critical or its end is critical. Means according to that we can shift or we can make some certain changes, or that would be.
Okay. So because it is telling you if start or finish or if the whole activity is critical, that means giving you a better idea for control, right?
Yes, sir. It is giving more information than CPM, sir.
Okay. Why do you think it is giving you more information than CPM?
As in CPM, we get the whole activity as critical.
Okay.
While monitoring, during the monitoring process, if our project is getting delayed or something is happening, so we directly change the schedule of that particular activity.
Sir, but one
Duration.
thing is there now. In a CPM, anyway, there is no. It is not possible to check for only start or only finish of an activity, because all the relationship are finish start relationships, finish to start.
Yes, sir.
So what PDM is helping you is that it is giving you, it is preparing you for more complex relationships,
Yes.
and those complex relationships are closer to what you see on site. But
Yes, sir.
yet you will find that there are people who are not accepting PDM till now. There are people still worried about or confused in splitting the activities, like how the activities should. You are telling me that if the activities are split, my whole project duration will reduce. So I am very interested in reducing the whole project duration, right?
Yes, sir.
But the question is, how am I going to split the activity now? You see, I just told you that I just gave an example to you that uh, if instead of treating these activities continuous, you split them, the whole project duration reduces.
Yes, sir.
So, don't you want to know how actually this split happened? How are you actually splitting these activities?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, this is one point in contention till now. Like, there are some heuristics, or you can say rule of thumb, how to do it, but we will talk about it. Let's try to solve some other numerical. This was like a linear one where you saw that just by looking at it, you would have calculated the duration as 41 days, right? 10 plus 2 plus 7 plus 2 plus 3 plus 2 plus 5 plus 2 plus 8, 41 days. But then seeing all the relationships, you saw how it could change. Uh, Now let's have another. Yeah, float. We saw one kind of float now, right now, right? Total float. How many floats can be there? How many floats can be there? Or how do you know that the start of an activity is critical or its finish is critical?
By calculating the float of start, float, and float.
Okay, so for each activity there could be three kinds of float. Okay, so start float, finish float, and what? What else? Total float. So start float is late start minus
Early start.
early start. Finish float is late finish minus early finish. Total float is late finish minus early start minus duration. Right. So let's try to calculate remaining floats. I'll be writing a start float on the starting and finish float here. So right. Are the values correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What about relationship float? Let me show this figure again. Okay, just by the name, what do you think? What is a relationship float?
Between two activities.
Okay, between two activities. Sir, but the relationships we are discussing it here is start to start or finish to finish or start to finish, finish to start. So we are interested in the events actually, right? Start of an activity, end of an activity.
Yes, sir.
So relationships are not between the activities now. They are between the events of the activities, start or finish events. So similarly, your relationship float is the relationship is also between what? If you take this relationship, what is this? Start of activity A and start of activity B. That's the relationship,
Yes.
right? And this lead is giving you this. This is giving you the duration. That should have been the duration, right?
Hmm.
So if you have to calculate the float, relationship float, what would it have been? Late is 2, early is 0, and duration is 2, right? So 2 minus 0 minus 2, 0. What about this? Late is 13, early is 10, and duration is 1. So 13 minus 10 minus 1
10 minus 2.
is equal to 2. You see that as this relationship is not critical, you have got some relationship float coming in.
Hmm.
So formula for relationship float. Okay, so RF late minus early minus
Lead lag.
lead lag. Okay, whatever it be. Now, how to do it? If it is start to start relationship, you put it ls minus es minus l, or if it is finish to start relationship, you put it lf minus es minus l. Okay, so this is the way to remember relationship float. You guys can remember it, right? So this is the head of your arrow and this is the tail of your arrow. Okay, so whatever the kind of relationship is given to you, at head of the arrow you take the late value, at tail of the arrow you take the early value, and you subtract the lead lag. Simple as that. Now let's try to solve it, but let's do it for interruptible activities. Okay, we will do it for interruptible activities first. So first thing, what should be the first step here?
Draw network diagram.
Okay, drawing the network diagram. Is it is in this case is the network diagram quite visible, like the previous case? Guys, one more thing. Like right now, when you see the uh, softwares, na, MS Project, be it MS Project or Primavera, even if your outcome that you see or when you plot the relationships, you can plot each and everything, right? Start to start relationship, finish to finish relationship, all kind of relationship you can plot, all kind of lead like values you can give, and what you see is in kind of connected bar charts, right? But the calculation that is going behind them is actually PDM only, because anyway CPM is not able to deal with those kind of relationships, right? Yeah, so making the network, activity A, then you have got activity B coming in, B and C both, right? So activity A, finish to start with B and start to start with C. What about activity D? Finish to finish with B and finish to finish with C. So finish to finish with B and finish to finish with C. What about activity E? E is finish to start with activity D. And what about activity F? Start to start with activity. Yeah, this is the kind of network we are getting, right? Or have I missed any relationship? I mean, if you counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 arrows should be there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. So this is the network, right? Let's solve it. Okay, I have not written the lead lag values. A to C it is 5. B to A to B it is 2. Then B to D it is 4. and C to D is 2, D to E is 2, then E to F SS is 1 and FF is 2, right? So let's do forward pass. Interruptible activities. Zero, 6. What about this? 6 plus 2, only one value coming in, right? 8. Then again only one. 8 plus 4, 12. What about this? 0 plus 5, 5. 5 plus 5, 10. What about activity D now? Two arrows coming in, so it could be 16 or 12. So it would be 16. What about this value? You tell me. Okay. Then 16 plus 2, only one arrow coming in, so 18, only one direction, right? So 18 plus 6, 24. What about this? 18 plus 1, it could be 19, only one arrow, so this could be 26, or 19 plus 4, 23, so 26. Yeah. One box I have left it for you guys. What should be the value here? You guys can hear me clearly, right? Are you guys following me, or is there any trouble at my end? I can't hear you. Okay. Is it at my end that I can't hear you? Can anybody confirm? So yeah, the question is, what should be the early start of activity D? Okay, again, this is a technical check. You guys can hear me, right? Anybody can you just confirm? I mean, it feels weird sitting like this, and
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
okay. So where were you guys for this long? Okay. Uh, what is the early start of activity D?
It may be from 0 to 8.
So what value should I put here? 0 to 8, I mean 9 values you just told me. Okay, so forward pass. Okay, this is forward pass. So in forward direction, no relationship has been given to you for this point, start of activity D, right? In forward direction, there is no relationship coming in. So if there would have been some project start, you could have linked it directly to this activity as well as to this activity. I mean to each activity, for activity B also, that only after project start happens, your activity B can start, but there is some other relationship for activity B starting. So for D, in this case, the earliest you can reach by 0. So this means there would have been another option, 16, 12 and 8. So you have got value 16, higher one in forward direction. Now let's try to do the backward pass. 26. 26 minus 4. You're right, backward direction. So 26 minus 4, 22. No other tail here. So 22. What about activity E? It could be this side, no other tail. So 26 minus 2, 24. for this
Yeah.
point, start of activity E. It could be 26, 24 minus 6, 18, or
80,
22 minus 1, 21.
22 minus 1.
So lesser value 18. What about this? Only one tail for activity D. So 18 minus 2, 16. What about this value? Only one tail again for a start. So 16 minus 8, 8. Yeah. Activity B, one tail again. So 16, 16 minus
Minus
4,
4,
so
12,
12. Again one tail. So 12 minus 4,
8,
8. What about activity C? 16, 16 minus 2,
14,
14. Then one tail. So 14 minus 5, 9.
9.
What about start of activity A? So 8, 8 minus 2, 6. One tail only. 6 minus 6, either 0 or 9
9 minus
minus 5,
4.
4. So 0. Right?
Yes, sir.
So in this case, let's calculate all the floats. You know the formula for float, right? So I'll just keep on subtracting it. What about this? Again 4. In this case, yeah. Uh, no, no, this value is wrong here. Yeah, this is 3. So if you have to draw the critical path, what would it be? Start of activity A, then activity A going to activity B completely critical again, like A, then yeah. See, you guys have not helped me in this case, and yeah. So finish of activity D is only critical. Now activity E completely critical. So which relationship is critical now? So you can see that finish of activity F is critical, not its start, right? So this is your critical path.
So total float of activity D is wrong.
Yeah,
8.
that's what I am telling you. Na, you guys didn't help me correct the values. This would be how much? 3. Yeah. Uh, so if the question comes, what is the total float for activity C, or which kind of float exists in activity F, you can say that it is total float and start float. What is the value of float in activity D? Start float in activity D, 8. Uh, so what other values you have to calculate? You have to calculate relationship float. Relationship float, I will be showing it in triangles. Okay, near the relationship. So for this activity, 8, 8 minus 6 minus 2, 0. What about this? 16, 16 minus 12 minus 4. So you can say that if it is on critical path, relationship float would be 0 if the relationship is critical. In this case, 18, 18 minus 16 minus 2, 0. In this case, 26 minus 24 minus 2, 0. What about other relationships? 22 minus 18 minus 1, how much? 3. This relationship would be 16 minus 14 minus 2, 0.
0.
Right? And this
11. Sorry, 9.
9 minus 5 minus 0, 4. So have we calculated relationship floats also? Uh, so the question is in front of you, values are in front of you. What do you think? If the activities, if the splitting was not allowed, will the duration increase, decrease, or remain the same?
Can you repeat the question one more time?
So, okay, I couldn't hear you clearly. Can you come
Sir,
closer
can
to
you
the mic?
repeat? Sir, can you repeat the question one more time?
Okay, so right now, when we were solving this, we assumed that the activities were interruptible. The activities could be split. Now, what if the activities cannot be split? In that case, what do you think? The duration will increase, decrease, or remain the same? Total duration. Okay, so let me take you back to this example.
It will decrease, sir.
Okay, will decrease. We'll see. Right now, first, let's talk about this example. Okay. Uh, we are focused on activity C. Let me bring it out separately. And in previous case, what was it? Yeah. So you have got this activity C, interruptible activity, 4C12 and 3. I have got a. Okay. Yeah. Uh, so just by looking at the durations, my question to you guys is, can anybody help me visualize the splitting of activity C? I mean, we have been talking about it, splitting, not splitting. I have taken out C activity for you. The times are in front of you: earliest start, earliest finish, latest start, latest finish. Can anybody put in words what splitting of the activity means here? Anybody? I mean, you have to start giving some words and then making sense or not. We will see to it. You will definitely make sense. We have been discussing this for 1.5 hours now. Okay, so splitting here means that as the start of activity C is critical, anyway you have to start on EOD4. Okay, now the total duration is 3 days, and 12 and 14 are its early finish and late finish. So you start by 4, then you have to finish by 12. So how you do it, it's up to you. But as there is some relationship, so what you would want is you start by 12 and remaining you finish by, I mean you start by 4 and you finish by 12. So that would be x and this would be 3 minus x. This is the splitting. And what should be the splitting ratio? We have not discussed. So the logic should follow that earliest you should finish by 12, or if you're talking about latest you should finish by 14, but you should start by 4. That is the case. So you start by 4 and you split it. This is splitting. Now we saw one numerical, this one with splitting. Now let's see what happens if it is not split. Okay. Okay, so relationships first. A to C is 5, A to B is 2, B to D 4, and C to D is how much? 2, D to E is 2, and then these are 1 and 2. So let's do forward pass. 0, 6. What about this? 6 plus 2, 8. No other value coming in. 8 plus 4, 12. What about this now? 0 plus 5, 5. 5 plus 5, 10. So this could be 12 plus 4, 16, or 10 plus 2, 12. So it would be 16. 16 minus 8, 8. Can it be? Or it would be 0 and 8. What value would we pick? We would pick 16 here. So what would be the early start in this case? Early start of activity D.
8.
Why?
8.
Yeah. So no other relationship given. 8 splitting. Activity E, 16 plus 2, 18. 18 plus 6, 24. So this would be 26, or 18 plus 1, 19. 19 and 4, 23. So it would be 26 minus 4, 22. Right? So you see that your duration is not changing. It was 26 for splitting and 26 for continuous. In this case, okay, let's complete it. Do backward pass also. One backward arrow. So 26 minus 4, 22. What about this? 26. 26 minus 2, 24. And this would be 2 arrows. 21 minus 22 minus 1, 21, or 20. Yeah, 24 minus 6, 18. You have to take minimum values, right? So one backward arrow in this case. 18 minus 2, 16. One arrow, 8. Coming to this side, 12. 12 minus 4 is how much? 8. In this case, 16. 16 minus 2 is 14. So 14 minus 5 is 9. What about this? This is 6 and this is 0. Now which activities are critical? If you have to calculate the total float, In this case, start float and do we need to calculate start float and float?
It's the same, so not needed.
Uh, okay, let's just calculate total float. So total float formula is
Zero.
the same. So 0. What about this 4? Right? 0, 0, 0. Are the values correct? So the let's check the critical path. Or before it, let's calculate the relationship float. Uh, yeah, 8 minus 6 minus 2, 0. 16 minus 12 minus 4, 0. 16 minus 14 minus, okay, uh, 16 minus 10 minus 2, that would be the case, na? 4. I guess we made the same mistake here also. Yeah, it should be 16 minus 10 minus 2. So the value comes out to be uh, yeah, 4. Let's check for here. Yeah, yeah, all the values were, rest were correct. This would be 9 minus 5. Yeah, correct. So this is 4. This would be 18. 18 minus 6 minus 2, 0. For this, 26 minus 24 minus 2, 0. In this case, 22 minus 18. How much? 4 minus 1. So 3. So relationship floats are calculated now. With relationship float, let's have the critical path. This. Then this one. What about activity D? Is it completely critical or not? So when you have got continuous activities, whole activity would be critical. Okay, 0 total float. Yeah. Uh, guys, please turn on your mics. Any questions in PDM? How to solve it? How to solve the networks? How to calculate the values?
Not yet, sir.
Okay, you will have to try it on your own, right? But the problem in assignment is quite simple, so I don't think it should give you much trouble. Hopefully, you got an idea of what PDM is.
Yes, sir.
One more numerical, but I think we can skip it, right? Or do you want me to solve it?
We can skip it, sir.
Okay, so skipping it, we are coming to some interesting topic now. Monitoring and control. What do you mean by project monitoring?
Tracking of projects, sir.
And how do you do it?
By comparing it with the actual progress and the planned program, means that
As per schedule.
Okay, tracking. And tracking, you said planned versus actual.
planned versus actual, sir.
Yeah.
By
And
comparing it with baseline.
okay, by comparing it with baseline. Then I also heard a schedule. Compare with baseline and then schedule. So okay, very the basics, the theory part I can see it clearly on my screen. Okay. Uh, what have you learned till now about scheduling? You have learned the bar chart. You have learned CPM. You also got an idea of PDM, right? So if you are talking about planned versus actual, can you do that in case of bar chart? See, next session is on monitoring and control earned value.
Yes,
So
sir.
we will be discussing it in detail at that time. Those, but that would be more on the, you can say, numerical side or the values. This part for 10 minutes or so, we will just discuss the basics. Okay. So let's say we start with bar chart. Okay. You had a bar chart like this, activity A, B, C. This was your initial chart. How can you use it for monitoring? Tell me. Or if you want, I will even write some values for you. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So suppose the activity A, what you have drawn on the bar chart, is
Yeah.
the planned progress you can for the while, and just below that we can draw one more chart, one more bar like actual progress.
Okay. So what is the actual progress? You tell me. And how will you measure it?
Actual progress we will get from the site itself, sir.
Uh, just okay. Just give an example. Like, okay, this is the report you got from site.
Suppose, sir, if excavation work is going to be done in 7 days, and the quantity of the
Sir,
excavation
sir, sir.
would be
I
okay.
would I would interrupt you.
Okay.
Can you please talk in terms of the bar chart that we have in front of us? Like activity A duration is 2 days, activity B duration is 2 days, and activity C duration is 3 days.
Okay, sir. So suppose the activity A duration is 5 days, and for that we need its quantity, something other than duration.
Yeah.
So the quantity of the A is suppose 5, just a
Okay.
number you consider it,
Yeah.
and it would be for 5 days. But the schedule, as per planned, we have to cover at the end of second days it should be 2.5
Yeah.
or 2. But in actual, from the site report, it is coming 1.5. That means we are delaying from the planned. From that we can
Okay.
compare it.
So can you plot that value, that the one that you got from site, on this bar chart?
By converting it.
See, everybody, you got the question right. Like activity A, the total quantum of work was 5 units. It had to be done in 2 days. So per day you had to do 2.5. But at the end of first day, the uh, the report from site is that you have only completed 1.5 units. Is there any way to plot this on bar chart?
By converting it in percentage, it won't be possible, sir.
By converting into percentage.
Yeah, means 5 days is 100% or
Okay, so let me draw it for you. Okay, this was 100%,
sir.
and by the end of day one, you should have done 50%, right? But you have done only 25%.
So the screen is not visible, sir.
Sir, something
Yeah,
disturbed, sir.
yeah.
Sagit, I'm sorry. Ah,
Okay, yeah. Is it visible now?
Yes, sir.
yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so you had to do total. total 5 units. Okay, total 5 units,
Yes.
that means 2.5 units per day. uh, and at the end of at EOD 1 you only completed 1.5 units. How can you show it on bar chart? That is my question. You said convert it into percentage, so this was 50% and this is 30%. So how can I show it this 30%? You guys have to help me here. See, right now if I plot 30%, it would be like this only, a smaller bar. But right, this would be 30% if this is 100%.
Yes, sir.
But is this the right way to show it? I mean, this would show it up to what, 0.7 days. But you are talking about EOT 1. कहीं ना कहीं कुछ मिसिंग नहीं लग रहा है क्या?
Yes, sir. Something is missing.
Right. And now this was only one activity. If more than one activity would have been there, then tracking would have been another issue.
Yes, sir.
So कहीं ना कहीं bar chart is not helping you. What about CPM? Can you track it in CPM? Let's say there is activity A, 2 days, then activity B 2 days, and activity C 3 days, and you have covered only 30% of activity A at the end of first day. Any way to do it? And guys, use your minds. I mean, just whatever, you have been doing this on your own for whole your life. You have been planning even before getting up from the bed. You start planning that, okay, I will do this work by this time, I'll try to do this. And yet if you try to monitor it midway, you say that, okay, this 2 3 tasks, let me postpone it for tomorrow. So you have been doing it. I'm just asking you that all the methods that you have learned till now, can you use them for tracking, for comparing? Okay, forget this. uh, Basic. Let's go to more basic. Okay, planned versus actual, what all things can you compare? Give me the exam, give me this. I will even remove all this. Planned versus actual, that's what you said, na? That is monitoring. So what all things can you compare? Tell me. I need answers, guys. Planned versus actual. Okay, so one thing was quantum of work. It should be what? Quantum of work. What else? Cost incurred. Then it could also be units, in terms of units, or some milestones. that you planned that you will reach some milestone and you will reach milestone B, but in working you're still at milestone A. What else can you compare? Okay, how many of you are lost what we are talking right now? How many of you are not getting the point? Should I start from the beginning this topic? It would take me 1 minute or so. If not, then you guys tell me what else can you compare if you're talking about planning versus planned versus actual.
Resource will come in this, sir, or not? Resources.
Uh, Resources. Okay, let me write it down.
We can compare duration,
Compare
plan
duration. How
duration.
so?
So if we plan for some activity for a certain duration,
Okay,
and based on our bar chart, the duration of bar chart, we can compare it with the original.
okay. Duration. So time is spent actually. What else can you? How else can you compare planned versus actual? See, quantum of work, like uh, you you take the total work that was to be done, you break it down into some specific duration, and you say 30% work had to be done, but I did only 15%, or I completed 40%. So comparing quantum of work. Similarly, cost incurred, like end of the day 5 you were planning to spend 10,000 rupees and you have spent 9,000 only. So that means either you saved on cost or you didn't complete enough work, right? Or in some cases it could directly be the units, like some towers you said that uh, in in 1 week you will be, in 2 weeks you will be having two stories, but in 2 weeks you only have one story. So by units also you can count.
Yes, sir.
Mile, right? Milestones, you set and plan initially that this would be my milestone 1 20%, milestone 2 35%, milestone 3 similarly, and then you compare it with time or resources utilized or the duration. Anything else can you use for comparing planning versus planned versus actual?
Apart from this, not getting any points, sir.
Okay, uh, sir.
Sir, can we plan a critical path and compare it with the
Uh,
current project?
so, can you, okay? Can you elaborate?
Sir, based on our planning, if we have to perform some activity, we planned that certain activities, this to be has to be critical because it is important.
Yeah.
Uh, but while performing the work, maybe we get that some activities has to be delayed, so we are not getting our critical path. We are not
Uh,
able to follow our critical path.
Sir, but
That may be.
it has to be something quantifiable, right? Right now, from your description, it seems that if critical path is followed, it is okay. If it is not followed, it is not okay.
Yeah, duration point of view, if you are not following the critical path, then duration will be affected.
Uh, yeah. I won't say so, because we have seen that the critical path keeps on changing, even with updates. So not the critical path, but if it is measured in terms of cost incurred or duration, it could be.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, because we are not when we are tracking, we don't only track critical activities. We track all the activities, right? Critical or non-critical.
Yes.
That's why. Okay, just one one small idea I would like to plant it in your minds. You plan for your day, right? In the morning. By
Yes, sir.
afternoon,
Yes.
how do you decide that if you are on track or you are falling behind or you are ahead?
We check if the whatever we have to in to-do list we have completed, achieved till now, what we
Okay.
have planned.
So you
And
make a to-do list or bar chart or CPM, whatever.
yes,
What do you
yes.
do?
So we compare it with what real time happening, which topic we have completed.
Okay,
We mark the.
so how many of you actually make a to-do list to compare it?
Not in such a way we prepare a to-do list, but in our mind we prepare a list that we have
Okay,
to work.
so you are not preparing a to-do list, or in your mind are you preparing a to-do list?
Yes, sir.
No, that is my question. Seriously, I mean, are you preparing a to-do list on paper or in mind, or you are not preparing a to-do list?
No, we used to prepare a to-do list, but in our mind itself, we don't used to always write the such things.
Okay, so in your mind itself, but in mind also you can say that you are not even preparing a to-do list. You just have a list of tasks, and just by giving some random values or just by thinking about it, you are saying that okay, this is 50% done, this is 80% done, this is not done,
Yes, sir.
right? So what you have done right now is using expert opinion, because it is the task related to you, all the tasks are related to you, and so you are the expert. So whatever you say, it is going to be expert opinion, and you have to believe it in tracking planning versus planned versus actual.
Yes, sir. And we have to accept it also.
Yeah, so we accept it. And being the uh, project manager also, we postpone some tasks for the next day,
Yes, sir.
right? So there is one more thing you can use as expert opinion, that you had activity A. So how much of activity A is complete? If the expert says okay, it is 75% complete, you are not you are not asking him na, how did he get this 75% value, because he is an expert. You accept him, you accept his view, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so this is another way. Now, when to use which height, which way of comparing planning versus planned versus actual, when to use quantum of work, when to use cost incurred, when to compare with units, milestones. This comes into at what stage of planning, or at what level of planning, macro level, micro level. How should you track, how should you compare plan versus actual. So this week's questions, assignment questions, are related to this only, levels and basics. I think you will be able to do it. If not, we will see it in the next session.
Okay, sir.
Any questions?
सर ये expert opinion वाला थोड़ा
uh, okay, expert opinion is simple. You say that let's take an example of dewatering. Okay, excavation is done, बारिश हुई थी, अभी भी पानी फिल हो रहा है, आइट साइड से थोड़ा सा ड्रेनेज भी है, एंड the dewatering activity has been going on for 3 days, and
yes
someone asks you how much has it been complete. You are not going to measure it, right? Because you know कि अगर बारिश हो गई या जो इनफ्लो है, ग्राउंड वाटर इनफ्लो, so some expert says that okay, it will take 2 more days. So by then you know that okay, activity is 60% complete, right?
यहाँ पे site engineer will be expert or
Yeah,
we
definitely.
manager will.
Site engineer, because manager is the one managing, he is the one asking for the opinion, right?
Hmm.
So if he's trusting his site engineer, then site engineer is the expert.
Uh,
So no, my point was that it is not always going to be quantifiable. Like
Okay.
there can be some tracking where it could just be qualitative, not on the basis of quantities, but someone just giving you arbitrary values and you are accepting it.
Yes.
for example किसी ने expert ने baseline दे दी तो baseline को compare करेंगे. Is that same?
बिल्कुल, और वो एक्सपर्ट अगर मन में ही बेसलाइन बना के बोल दे रहा है, देन ऑल्सो यू विल एक्सेप्ट इट.
Yes, expert opinion.
या ओके, एनी अदर पॉइंट ऑफ डिस्कशन?
Sir, I have one question.
या
Sir, next session will going to be the last session of the doubt class.
इट डिपेंड्स ऑन यू गाइस एक्चुअली. I mean, from my side, it is it will be the last class. But if you guys want, I can keep one another session.
It would be good, sir, if you'll keep one more session on 23, sir, because the
I
exam
also
will.
I also want.
Okay, so when do you
Yes.
want that session to be?
Same, sir, on 20 Saturday, because exam is on 24, sir. So 23 will be good if you have
Okay,
time.
so what I mean, what do you guys want me to bring on that in that session?
Sir, based on our planned preparation, if we have any doubt, we will ask you that
Only
doubt.
doubt plus, sir, we will ask the questions to you, sir.
Okay, so it's like I just have to come with blank copy pen, right?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Expert opinion, sir.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I will talk to the NPTEL guys
Okay, sir.
and I will let you know about this in the next session.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Meanwhile, I would suggest that it's better to go through the contents uh, before that also.
Yes, sir.
So, do you guys have any questions till now? Any doubts? Any topic that you felt was not dealt judiciously in this session? Like I just skipped it or didn't give enough focus?
From my side, it's not anything, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So, no questions then. Thank you guys.
No,
Thank
sir.
you for attending the session. We will meet next week on the same time.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Hopefully, I
Thank you,
will
sir.
see you guys then.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you so
Thank you,
much,
sir.
sir. Have a good night, sir.
Good night. Thank you.
Sir,
Yeah.
another thing, can you show anything in that software, the screen,
Uh,
like MS projects or Primavera? But we are
okay.
doing like this theoretical part. We show it in, I don't know about the MS project and all.
Uh, okay. So,
Because,
yeah, yeah, we can do it. Maybe in the final session.
some, as a final session, you show it in MS project or in P6. We will
Yeah.
come to
So,
some introduction required for the P6 or the MS projects.
yeah, I
What you
will.
have done this floats and all this scheduling and this how you are
Okay. So what I will do is
uh,
either one of the software, either MSP or P6, I will bring one software to you.
yes,
I mean, I 90% I will bring it, not 100%, because I don't have the softwares with me right now. I will have to arrange for them. Yeah. So that one thing I can do. Uh, Anything else?
No, sir.
Okay. So see you guys next time. Signing off.